A Merry Christmas, everybody. It's me, Roger Aladdin Daltrey, and I'm doing a quick tribute video today because I was going to do it yesterday, but then unfortunately I got a bit distracted because I heard some noises coming in either next door or inside my house, because it wouldn't really suit the topic of this video today. This is just a tribute video because it was 1 year ago yesterday when Rick Parfitt of Status Quo had passed away. And I found out about his death on the news, on the computer news, and it was already a sad time because George Michael died the following day. So I was like, wow, you know. And speaking of George Michael, it was 1 year ago today when he passed away. But this is more of a Rick Parfitt tribute video than a George Michael video. But I will mention George Michael in some parts as well. And I know Rick Parfitt did have a couple of health issues, but I really didn't think he was going to die. So I was in complete shock and bombed. I was only bombed because I do like some George Michael music. Like, I love the song Faith, which was released 30 years ago. Because as I said in my Leonard tribute video, they did an In Excess 30th anniversary edition of Kick, the classic record with Need You Tonight. And I thought that was good. And they did the same thing with U2's The Joshua Tree. And now the new U2 album just came out, which I'm gonna be getting in the forthcoming weeks or so. And I like the Last Christmas song by Wham, but of course it's way overplayed on the radio and I'm really tired of it. But what the hey? So now, this is a bit difficult for me to talk about because I do consider myself as a big fan of Status Quo. However, these are the only albums I have by them, so I don't have everything by Status Quo. However, I lost interest in them after Never Too Late because of John Coughlin's departure. And then starting with 1972's Pile Driver. So this will be a quick 1 year anniversary of Rick Parfitt. So for the Status Quo records, I have the following. Pile Driver, as I mentioned. I love the front cover of the guys doing headbanging. And it's a bit like those metal bands like Slayer, like Jeff Hanneman, Kerry King and Tom Araya do the headbanging. And of course Metallica do that as well. A band which I used to love, but I've given up on them for a few reasons. I said that in a recent video. And the songs I like on here include Don't Waste My Time, because I love the guitar playing, by Francis Rossi. Francis Rossi is a great singer, and Rick Parfitt is not bad either. And so is Alan Lancaster. He's a great singer too, because there's actually one Alan Lancaster Status Quo song that I really like, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But for now, I'm going to stick to this one. I like the track. There's also a song in here called All the Reasons, which is a similar title of the Tom Petty track, All the Wrong Reasons, which is from Into the Great Wide Open, which I mentioned in my tribute video for Tom Petty. And I also forgot to mention that I really do like the song You and I Will Meet Again. I just listened to that and I was like, man, I'm telling you, that song is so good. And I'm sure All the Reasons will be good as well. And I like their cover of The Doors' Roadhouse Blues. And as I mentioned on my Blue Oyster Cult Columbia Albums Collection video, I mentioned that they did a cover of Roadhouse Blues with the guitar player from The Doors, Robbie Krieger. Because since Jim Morrison died, Robbie Krieger was really the man of The Doors. And Roadhouse Blues was actually sung by Alan Lancaster, so that's pretty cool. And then for bonus track, they do a live cover of Don't Waste My Time. And the gorilla on the back there looks very funny too. Do you think, now, leave your comment below, do you think he looks a bit like King Kong? A little bit. Like, I heard that on the Kiss album Love Gun, Gene Simmons actually kind of resembles King Kong nearly, with his mouth wide open. And recently, I've read an article that Gene Simmons had now been sued for sexual harassment. And I know people these days are being way too harsh on Gene Simmons, because I think he and Paul Stanley steered Kiss in the right direction, in my opinion, even though Paul took over most of Kiss in the 80s. Starting with 1984 record Animalize. But anyway, for the next Status Quo record I have Hello. The front cover looks very cool too. This is from 1973, by the way. And the front cover actually reminds me of of Kiss standing on the platforms before getting ready to kick off the first song of their set list. I think they start with either Detroit Rock City from Destroyer or maybe Deuce from their self-titled debut. Deuce is also 40 all in tennis. And the songs I like on here include Roll Over Lay Down, which is a similar title to Roll Over Beethoven, which was a Chuck Berry song who unfortunately died this year, and even Electric Light Orchestra covered that on the ELO 2 album. A very rockier version that makes you want to do some headbanging. Then there's a song on here called Reason of Living, a bit of a similar title of the Kiss track Reason to Live from Crazy Nights, which is my favourite non-makeup Kiss album. Then there's Blue Eyed Lady, similar title of, which if you change it around you'd get Brown Eyed Girl, the Van Morrison cover. Now to be honest with you, I do like Van Morrison, but Brown Eyed Girl is a song that you've heard to death. But I don't know if Status Quo may have liked that song or not. But I have to admit, Van Morrison's good. Don't get me wrong. I like the track And It's Better Now because it's got a nice melody to it. And yeah, there's a couple of other ones. And there's some other fantastic moments on here. So that's very cool. Then I got what some people say is their best album, because that's what I said on besteveralbums.com. Quo. Looks very good. Good front cover. There's the back for you. I like the track Break the Rules because it's a very bluesy track, and Francis Rossi does a good vocal on that. There's even a track called Slow Train, which is also a Bob Dylan song from the album Slow Train Comin', featuring Mark Knopfler and Pick Withers from Dire Straits on that. And then of course, Mark Knopfler played on the Infidels album with Bob Dylan, and it even includes Mick Taylor from the Rolling Stones, despite the fact that he left the Rolling Stones in 1975. And Mark Knopfler also played on Death Is Not the End by Bob Dylan from Down in the Groove, which I actually think is one of Dylan's best albums ever. I know, it's a bit odd because it is considered as one of his weakest, but what the hey. And Just Take Me is also, if you take out the Just and you have Take Me, you get the Kiss track Take Me from Rock and Roll Over, another one of my favourite Kiss albums. And then for a bonus track, they have a track called Lonely Night. So that's very cool. Okay, so that's Quo for you. It looks very cool. I think, I'm not sure who that one is. I think that's Alan Lancaster or Rick Parfitt. And Alan there kind of reminds me of Les Holroyd of Barclay James Harris, and maybe Jeff Lynne in the 1970s from ELO. Right. Okay, the next one up is my personal favourite Status Quo record. On the Level. 1975. On the Level is also a Leonard Cohen song from You Want It Darker, the one album that affected me when I was listening to it, because I knew he was going to die after that. And as I said before, whenever I go to bed, when my modem gets plugged out at night, when I'm in the middle of watching something, I listen to the You Want It Darker record on headphones, looking at a picture from the Aladdin TV series, Raiders of the Lost Ark, because as I said before, guys, Aladdin is the man. Don't get me wrong. The tunes I like, now there's a lot of tunes I can talk about on this one. I like Little Lady, because Rick Parfitt sings on it, and he has a good voice on that. It's very Status Quo sounding. And even the Blue Oyster Cult song, Borman the Chauffeur, which is one of the bonus tracks on Secret Treaties, sung by Joe Bouchard, it actually sounds a lot like Status Quo. And even Joe Bouchard and Alan Lancaster have some similarities in their voices, because their voices sound so similar. Just like Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel, because you can't really separate the two of them because they have that similar kind of voice. I like the tune most of the time, and it's also a Bob Dylan song from the Oh Mercy record, which is considered as a comeback album for Dylan, although they did say Infidels. But anyway. Then I love the song Down Down, which was the big hit single. We all love that song. And I like their cover of Bye Bye Johnny, and I think Bruce Springsteen covered that as one of the bonus tracks for, I think, either Nebraska or Born in the USA. Was one or the other. Because I know Springsteen started having depression with Born in the USA. I think. But anyway. And then for bonus tracks, they do a live version of Roadhouse Blues, and it's over like 15 minutes long. I don't know why they do that. I need to listen to the Doors version again so I know how long it would be, or maybe the Status Quo version too. But anyway, that's On the Level for you. Great record, I love this one. Then I have Blue for You. I love the front cover, they're all dressed in blue. And if you see on the spines, they actually have it's basically the album cover of Blue for You. So you get some on the front there, then you get some on the other side. But anyway, for some songs I like on here, I like the song Mad About the Boy, because I love Francis' vocals on that. And then there's Ring of a Change, which is a bit of a similar title of the Barclay James Harris track Ring of Changes, sung by Les Holroyd. And then there's a good tune on, and then there's Rain, which is also a Kiss song from the Carnival of Souls record, the Final Sessions, and Paul Stanley sings very depressing on that, because it is a bit of a depressing album, but I do like it, it's one of my favourite Kiss albums. And Rain is also a song title of the Beatles, which you can find on the Past Masters. And for a minute, I thought it was actually George Harrison singing it, but it was actually John Lennon. Because the voices were a bit similar to each other. So yeah, that's so that's Blue for You. I need to listen to this again and reevaluate it, but from what I've heard, it's a good album overall. And then around this time, they got Andy Bone as the new touring member, and he was kind of featured on this next Status Quo record, and this is actually one of my favourite Status Quo albums of all time. Rocking All Over the World. And for tunes on here, I like the song Hard Time, just like the Kiss track, which is a similar title of the Kiss song Hard Times from my all-time favourite Kiss album, Dynasty, despite Peter Criss not being on the whole album. And speaking of which, Peter Criss had retired this year, and 5 days ago he had his 72nd birthday. And also, in Hard Time, this is actually a rip-off to the Beatles song Drive My Car, because it has the opening lyrics, asked a girl what you wanted to be, she said maybe, can't you see? So a complete plagiarism there. And basically the Simon and Garfunkel track Scarborough Fair from Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, because that's how the album got its name, it rips off a line in Bob Dylan, Girl from North Country with, remember me to one who lives there, because she once was a true love of mine. And Dylan also did a version with Johnny Cash on the Nashville Skyline album as well. And the track Let's Ride has a similar riff to that stupid Tin Lizzy's track King's Vengeance. Not the song now, because Tin Lizzy are a stupid band anyway. Because as I said, I gave up on Tin Lizzy last year, but it doesn't mean I don't love some of their music. I think the only good Tin Lizzy song I like is Emeralds because of Ace Frehley covering it for the Origins Volume 1 album. And I like the title Rockin' All Over the World. In fact, that's actually a John Fogerty song. Basically, it was released 3 years after the demise of Creedence Clearwater Revival, one of my all-time favourite bands. Then there's Too Far Gone. It's also a Neil Young track from Freedom, which has the hit single, Keep On Rockin' in the Free World. And then there's For You, which is also a Bruce Springsteen track from Green's from Asbury Park. And then for the bonus tracks, they do a cover of the Beatles track Getting Better, which is from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which by Rolling Stone is the best album of all time. Would I agree with that? No, because I mentioned that in my Green Day video. So that's that album. Great record, I love this one. I don't have If You Can't Stand the Heat because I'm going to get that as a late Christmas present. So I have Whatever You Want, which is a really good album. I love this one. I love the title track Whatever You Want. And I love the hit single Living on an Island. And then there's Runaway, which is a line mentioned in Tom Petty, Running Down a Dream from Full Moon Fever. And there's some other good tunes on here. I need to listen to this one again and reevaluate it. But Living on an Island is a good song as well. Kind of like the ballad of the album, if you ask me. Yeah. And then the final Status Quo album I have is one of my all-time favourites, Just Suppose It. And this album was actually recorded in Dublin, Ireland, despite the fact that Status Quo are English. Because I think, heck, even the Eagles recorded in the English, not the US. And the songs I like on here are What You're Proposing, which is brilliant with the 1, 2, 3, do 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 do. It's just brilliant. I love the track Over the Edge, which is a similar title of the Yes track Close to the Edge, which is very good. And even the movie Over the Hedge, one of my favourite DreamWorks movies of all time. Alan Lancaster sings on that. And track Close to the Edge, which is really good. And even the movie Over the Hedge, one of my favourite DreamWorks movies of all time. Alan Lancaster sings on that. And I like the track Rock and Roll, similar title of Led Zeppelin Rock and Roll. And I like the name, and there is the name of the game, which is a song by ABBA, which features Gammy Agneta, because Linda Larkin, who voices Jasmine from Aladdin, is better looking, and even someone said to me, yeah, she's Gammy. But anyway, I like Lies. It's also a Rolling Stones song from Some Girls, and a couple of other ones as well. So that's all the Sadcore records I have, and now, just to pay tribute to Rick Parfitt, I really enjoyed your music, Rick. You were a great guitar player, great guy, and great fella. I loved your Christmas song, It's Christmas Time by Status Quo. And George Michael, I think you're a great guy too. Okay guys, happy Christmas and a Merry New Year. I might do a New Year's Eve message for you all. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye. Happy Christmas. Rest in peace, Rick Parfitt. Your music will live on and you'll never be forgotten. And the same with you, George Michael. That's all for now. Bye. Sorry, I just wanted to say another quick thing about Rick Parfitt. Basically, I really love the surname Parfitt, because I heard that in the Aladdin TV show, which is my all-time favorite TV show of all time, because again, Aladdin is the man. I forgot to mention that there was an episode called Scare Necessities, which is a play on words of Bare Necessities, which is from The Jungle Book, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. And basically, someone, I think was it Iago or Abu, that ate banana parfait, which basically consists of ice cream tied up with some bananas in there as well. And also, it was along with the anniversary of George Michael's death, it was also 1 year ago today when I uploaded my first Marvin Gaye unboxing video. So when I get to 1,000 views on Marvin Gaye, I'll then do a quick Marvin Gaye discography for you. That's all I had to say. So, Merry Christmas once again. Rest in peace, Rick Parfitt once again, and George Michael. Oh, and one more quick thing. George Michael also sang the Queen song, Somebody to Love, at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert. And that song is from A Day at the Races, which is kind of A Night of the Opera Part 2, because they're both Marx Brothers films. And I think Hello, I Must Be Going is a line from one of those films, which is also a Phil Collins album as well. Okay, once again, rest in peace, Rick Parfitt and George Michael. Merry Christmas, everybody, and I'll hopefully come up with I'll soon get a New Year's Eve message for you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.